Welcome to Inspire. My name is Rich DuBose. I'm Director of Creative Ministries for the Pacific Union Conference. And once again, you have joined us for a session where we celebrate the arts, we talk about creativity, and it's always been fun. Craig, my co-host, is here with us today.
Hi, Rich.
And as usual, we have two guests, and we're looking forward to what they have to share.
We do. We have Michelle Noland, who is a filmmaker, and when I asked her, producer, writer, director, she literally does it all. We'll talk to her about her work in film. And we also have Kevin Straine, who it's fairly obvious that he is a musician, guitar player, and he's here in the area, in this area, and I know he's been a worship leader. He's a chaplain at La Sierra University, and there's lots of things that he does to tell God's story. And Kevin, we are going to start with you. Tell us a little bit about just kind of the nuts and bolts of your music. How long have you been playing? What was the first spark that kind of got you interested in music and guitar and singing and all that?
Yeah, well, the first person that really inspired me, actually, Rich knows him. You remember David Tates?
I do.
Yeah, I saw him in high school. We went to high school together, along with your son and daughter.
Yeah.
And he was playing the guitar, and I was like, man, I really want to do that. And so I knew my stepdad had an old nylon string guitar, and I started to take it up, and I really wanted to be a guitar player. I really wanted to be like, one of the greats. I really wasn't thinking in a Christian or a worship mode back then. But when I got to Noland Academy here in the midst of my high school, I was conscripted because I knew, 5 chords. And they had me play for some of the chapels, and that led to me going to La Sierra University, where I started in undergrad in the year 2000. Mm-hmm. And they had me start to play for chapels too, and I wasn't super excited about that because I liked the blues and I liked rock, but then I heard some really cool things coming out of the Christian worship music scene, and I thought, well, maybe this could be something for me, and God kind of, directed my path as God does, and I ended up doing worship for a lot of different things and having a lot of amazing experiences in Southern California, but also worldwide.
Wow.
I traveled to Jamaica and the Philippines with a bunch of worship-oriented groups, and I really saw God working through music. Mm-hmm. And I thought, wow, this is, I've refined those 5 chords now, and maybe I'd like to put something together. And when I was at La Sierra University Church a number of years ago, 7 years ago, I think now, a friend of mine said, hey, why don't we write a worship music record? And it was nothing that I'd ever dreamed of for myself. Mm-hmm. I was fine just leading worship in my local context, but God opened a lot of doors and helped me see that this was a thing for me. So we put together a worship record, and now it's where you can stream it and download it. And we're working on another one.
Wow.
It's going to be released soon.
Fantastic. If somebody wanted to go stream that or purchase it, would they go to all the usual places?
All the usual platforms, yeah.
Yep.
They're all consolidated at my website, kevinstraine.com.
Okay, good. kevinstraine.com.
Are these original songs?
Yeah, these are all original tunes.
Very good.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask you, when did this songwriting thing kick in?
Well, it didn't at first, but as you know, Dave Tates, he was a songwriter as well. And then, further along, like when I got to Noland Academy, a friend of mine named Derek McCoy, who also played guitar, encouraged me to write songs as well. And much like, I think, Greg, I had a love for the Beatles early on.
You know that, yes.
Yeah,
yes,
from your Facebook posts and whatnot. And so, I thought these people could write tunes. Why don't I try a little bit? And after 20 years, they're getting okay.
Yeah, and it's really interesting how musicians and, well, really any artist can be inspired by secular sources. And we don't always think that, well, God wouldn't use, that genre or that style to, yeah, he would. Why wouldn't he? And countless musicians that I know, as a musician myself, have been inspired by, all sorts of, So it's I think it's very common.
It's like theologian Walter Brueggemann says, Jesus meets us right at the intersection of the sacred and divine.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
that's as good as it gets.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you started writing songs at what age?
I guess high school was 16 or 17 or so, and I was very protective because it was my little thing, you
Do
know.
you remember
and-
any of your first songs?
Oh boy, I'm sure they were not very good. But I do remember on my journey of this songwriting process being open to other people's contributions and other people, you know. And now when I write a record, especially a worship record, because the music isn't my own, you know, it's God's, I'm the vessel basically.
Right.
And God's working through me. And so if anyone else has an inspired thought or idea, I'm very open to it now. But at the beginning of my journey, you know, if a friend of mine wanted to change one little chord, I
Yeah.
was very defensive.
Protective, yeah.
Yeah, about that. So
That's my song.
exactly.
You do
Yeah.
have to have thick skin to be a songwriter, and because
Yeah.
you know you're putting the art out there, and people do have ideas, and sometimes they're good, sometimes not, but they have
Yeah.
ideas, and it's okay to
I've-
rethink and rewrite and you know do all that. And
I've
it
written-
does take a while to get to that point, though. I know
Yeah.
that,
It's easy for those songs to become sacred cows. You know, right? I've sacrificed a few of my own.
Sometimes you have to.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I remember from my first record, but my first record, I went in with a completely different rhythm, very much an early Christian worship rhythm, like "Open the Eyes of My Heart," whatever.
Right.
And the drummer and the producer both talked to me, and they knew about this defensiveness of songwriters. So they said, you know, this rhythm isn't going to work. Do you mind if we change it? They're very delicate about it. Change it. And I said, well, yeah, because at this point I realized this is God's thing. God wants to get this record made. I didn't have a desire for this myself, but we're walking through this door, God's open. And I said, yeah, go ahead and change it. And they both were very surprised just to hear me
Right.
say, yeah, change almost some of the foundational things
Right.
to this song. And I was like, if you guys think it sounds better that way, go for it.
Sure.
And so it's vastly different than the demo,
Okay.
Yeah.
which is
That's-
great. It turned out to sound great.
Yeah, that's neat. Well, I know that I and you and everyone here, we want to hear you. And I know our viewers do too. So
Cool.
if you want to go get over
Yeah.
on the stool in front of the mics. And Rich, I had the privilege of hearing Kevin a couple times at La Sierra Church when he was a worship leader there. Really, really
Great.
effective.
Yeah, I've heard
Very
good
good.
stuff too.
Yep.
All right.
God of all, merciful, blessed be your name. You gather all under your wings, forever your power's the same. Spirit light, holy dove, bless us with your truth. Illumine all to see your grace, wounded hearts you soothe. So be near and come and fill this place. Come and fill this place. Only you are holy. Only you can save. So come and fill this place. Jesus Christ, the sacrifice, worthy is the King. The universe will declare the power of the Lamb and sing. So be near and come and fill this place. Come and fill this place. Only you are holy. save. So come and fill this place. Come and fill this place. Oh, come and fill this place. Only you are holy. Only you can save, yeah. So come and fill this place. Only you are holy. Only you can save. So come and fill this place.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Do another one?
Yeah, I've got one more if we got time.
Yep, we do.
Okay.
Just like the sunrise in a day, just like the air after the rain, God, you make everything change, and you always stay the same. Everything new again, everything new again, everything new again. God, you made everything new again. God, you sit upon your throne, and you call us as your own. Grace and righteousness you send, and our brokenness you mend. Everything new again, everything new again, everything new again. God, you made everything new again. O King of all the earth, you give us new life, you give us rebirth. King of all the earth, you give us new life, you give us rebirth. King of all the earth, you give us new life, you give us rebirth. Oh, King of all the earth, you give us new life, you give us rebirth. And everything new again, everything new again, everything new again. God, you made everything new again. Make everything new again and again and again.
Wow.
Wow, thank you so much.
Thank you,
That's
Kevin.
great stuff.
Go on over and join
Sure.
us back on the couch again, and we'll
it.
talk to Michelle. Michelle, you are a filmmaker.
Yes.
Tell us how you got started in that, and what inspired you to kind of work with film as your medium for art.
Yeah, so my entire family are movie buffs, and so they were exposing me to a lot of like old classic movies. And it was just like really heavily like in my home. Like we just constantly would watch movies, go to the theater and stuff like that.
Right.
And before I really had a relationship with God, I was like really into film and like all of the secular stuff. And I wanted to just end up like making that my career, because when I was around 8 years old, and my brother was 10, he got a black and white camcorder for his birthday, and so he just started like messing around with it and making me the actor for like every single thing. And so it was like forcing me to act, but then I started hamming it up and like just acting crazy and stuff. And then it just slowly evolved to like, well, let's buy a better camera now, or let's buy a green screen and let's try these special effects. So it started getting like more and more evolved as time went on.
I'd like to see some of those early.
Yeah, so
Yeah, we still have
And I also wanted to
Yeah.
ask you, because it's very clear that you and I are of different generations. What is an old classic movie to someone of your generation? How far back are we going? I mean, are we talking 50s, 40s, 30s, or?
Like, I've seen a few films from the 50s and the 60s.
Right.
Like The Apartment was one film
Okay,
that I watched.
right,
So
right.
those were like some of the films that my parents were really into.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. It's great to have parents that support arts, and I know, my dad bought me my first guitar,
Yeah.
so it's neat to have that. Okay, so move us a little bit beyond those really formative, and at first you were in front of the camera.
Yeah.
At some point you moved behind it. Where did you start kind of formally learning about what goes into the craft of filmmaking and storytelling?
Well, part of it began because when I started to go to church, like on my own instead of like my parents like, we should go. The church started asking, because they knew that my brother and I were doing film, and so they're like, well, can you start doing like promotional videos for us? I'm like, I guess we could. So we started really trying to figure out, okay, we need to storyboard this, we need to write scripts and everything, and so that's sort of how it began. And then when I finally decided that I wanted to make this my career, I started to attend La Sierra University, and
Okay.
I was a film major there, and I just graduated this last June, actually. So
Fantastic.
yeah.
Good. Remind us who runs the film school at La Sierra.
It's Rodney Vance.
Okay, right. I believe he came to an Inspire event
He did.
some time ago.
Yeah,
and-
we haven't had the opportunity to interview him yet here, but yes, he came to an event and actually spoke.
Right, and I recall what an impressive program he's running
Yeah.
there. And so if there were aspiring film students, watching this show, we could certainly refer them there, couldn't we? Yeah. How many films have you been involved with, and what are they about? Tell us
Okay.
names and all of that. Give us the bio.
Yeah, okay, so I did a film called She Isn't Here, and that was a film regarding mental health. And so I wanted to really emphasize that, because I know that's sort of like a taboo topic that people don't really want to talk about.
Right.
So I made the film about that. I was a director on that, and I wrote the script, and I also produced and I edited that one. And then I just finished a senior thesis that I worked on this last summer, which was called Illusory. So that one is around like 30 minutes long, but that one is about a woman who is kidnapped along with her brother, and she has a trauma that causes memory loss, and so she's trying to remember elements of the kidnapping through a medical procedure. So yeah, that's my latest one.
That's great. Interesting. And you're writing them also, or
Yeah.
does someone co-write with you? Is that all?
Yeah.
Or you're doing everything?
Well, for my senior thesis, my husband
had to write it,
actually,
probably.
Right.
I came up with the story elements along with my husband, and then my brother wrote the screenplay for that one.
Great.
So he just put it in like the format and everything, and so after that, it was just pretty much working, like cutting down the script because it was really long, and so we were just trying to like cut it down to 30 minutes.
Yeah, and that
Yeah.
kind of goes along with what we were talking with Kevin about other people kind of changing your work.
Yeah.
Was that a difficult thing for you to, or
It's okay. It's hard for me
Right.
to accept correction sometimes, but I think
For many of us.
Yeah, so I think I really need to. I remember in those moments that it's good because collaboration is what makes something the best that it can be. Because when you're so focused on what your vision is, you might have some blind spots to like problems in the story or in production that you might not see, and it takes a crew and it takes a group of people to actually make it the best that it can be.
yeah.
And with the arts, you're dealing with a lot of egos, producers and people who are involved in the creative process. So what is the favorite thing that you enjoy doing with filmmaking? What part of the process do you enjoy?
I love just creating the story
So
I
writing
think I really like to write. I like to also edit because I feel like in a way that's retelling the story again in a new way. So writing probably is my number one, but I love like just creating something out of nothing.
When you say edit, you talk about the final cut?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, cool.
What type are you using? Film? Is it? I don't know. And I
Digital.
truly don't know the answer to the question. Is it Is there a tape or film involved? What is or video or what is the
Format.
digital? I
Yeah.
don't, format. Thank you.
Yeah.
You can tell I'm not a filmmaker.
It's all digital, but I used to use tapes. Like when earlier when we had like the older camcorders, we used to use tapes, but now
Yeah.
everything's digital now. So
Of course.
yeah.
Which can be frustrating. I remember one time a guy, a videographer, and I were over in Las Vegas doing an interview with a lady. Got it all done, got back to the hotel, we were ready to fly out the next morning. He says, "There's nothing here." The files, it didn't take.
Yeah.
And that was a learning experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
We had to go back and do it again.
Yeah.
Michelle, I understand you've developed or produced a trailer of one of your videos.
Yeah, I brought a clip. It's a teaser trailer for the film She Isn't Here that I did about mental health. It was actually broadcast on PBS last year. It was in a short film festival, and it was accepted into a PBS show. So it was Film School Shorts.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'd like to see that.
Hey, Joe. I love these things. It's kind of like a shark or crocodile. Yeah.
Hey, I know what I saw.
Just because I've been postponing my cataract surgery doesn't mean I can't see.
I'm pretty sure it does, actually.
So what is agoraphobia?
I've been able to get my work done more effectively from home. So you're just gonna lie here? Is that the plan?
Michelle, why did you choose to focus on mental health? Is there a story there?
Well, there have been a few family members that have experienced mental illness. So I really wanted to focus on that because I feel like people are either ashamed to talk about it or to get help because they feel like if they go to a therapist, they'll be considered crazy. And I think that's just totally the opposite. Like, you're getting help to get better, and you shouldn't be ashamed about that because mental health is the same as physical health. It's just a different aspect of it.
Wow, that's powerful. Greg, that's what I call bringing good to life. We talk about with Inspire,
Right.
one of our roles is to bring good to life. I think that's a perfect example of bringing good to life, to shining a light on something that a lot of people would just like to keep hidden.
And that's the history in in the Christian church is that is a subject that is really pretty much been a taboo one for a long, long time. And we're not supposed to suffer those types of things if we're right with God. I've literally heard statements like that. And as you stated very eloquently, mental health, physical health, we all have physical maladies, and we don't think about our spiritual standing necessarily, and most of the time we don't. But with mental health, it really is a different issue.
Yeah.
What were you trying to say about that? I mean, I know it was to kind of put a light on it, but because I don't know the plot of the movie, what exactly were you going after?
Yeah, so my idea with the film was to just show, for people that don't know what agoraphobia was, which is like you can't go outside without getting panic attacks, I wanted to just show what it was like for somebody that had that, and also to sort of not to make it normal, but to normalize it to where like if someone is struggling with agoraphobia, they wouldn't be ashamed because they would be seeing it on the screen. It's not like something that's just going on inside of them. It's like something that's outside that they can see a tangible like example of what it's like. And then also at the end of the film, I really wanted to make sure to give like a little gleam of hope at the end. Not to completely cure it at the end, because that would be sort of predictable in a way, but I wanted to show like that there is life beyond mental illness and anxiety disorders. And I think that's been it's been a goal for me since I was converted to Christianity. I really wanted to make sure that the films that I made actually helped people. And it's fun to entertain people. I like making people laugh, but there's also this element that I wanted to share where somebody can come away from watching one of my films and they actually learn something new about life or about somebody that they might not really understand that well, like people who don't have mental illness. If they see my film, then they might understand it a little better and not be so afraid to talk about it.
Yeah, that's terrific, and I can't wait to see it.
Thank you.
Very, very good. Rich, we've been blessed on this episode again, and it just keeps happening. Every single one. Kevin, your music, I'm a fan of it, and we'll look forward to more releases that you're working on now. And thank you again, Michelle, for what you brought to us. To all our viewers, we really want to remind you that if you know of someone or you yourself are involved with any creative art that is trying to tell God's story and bring good to life, as my co-host Rich says, then please let us know here at Inspire. You can visit our website at visitinspire.org. And thank you again for viewing. We'll see you on the next episode.